I'd like to call the January 25th, 2021 Village of Lake Park Park and Recreation Commission meeting to order. For public comment, we received an email from Mr. Stephen Kuzmenko. Village of Lake Park Park and Recreation Commission. He's asking, hello, thank you for holding this meeting and allowing us to send public comments. I wanted to inquire on when the basketball courts in Lake Park will reopen. I think we can probably address that when we get to facilities and talk about rentals and so forth after January. I wanted to inquire. That was from Stephen Kuzmenko.
Hey, Mayor, everything is double talking on us.
I was wondering about that. I'm hearing an echo too.
If everybody mutes, it would probably help out until.
Okay, let's try that and see if we still get the echo. Okay. I don't hear an echo at this point. Okay. When it comes to take a vote or something, you can unmute and or if you have a comment. Sheree did send out the minutes from the November meeting since we did not meet in December. So is there a motion to approve the minutes from the November Park and Rec meeting as presented? If you'll state your name and signify A or nay.
This is Will. I'll make a motion.
Okay, Will, welcome. Will has made I'm sorry, we did need a motion to approve. Thanks, Will. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Jeremy, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by stating your name and A or nay, starting with Will.
Aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, aye.
Joe?
Joe, aye.
Motion is carried. We also sent out the agenda for tonight's evening meeting, but I did send out a change this afternoon. I don't know if everybody received that. We just added a couple items to the agenda. Blood drive under events and a leak in the kiosk under facilities. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
This is Will. I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Jeremy, I'll second.
This is Julian.
Okay, Jeremy seconded. Any changes requested? Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda for this evening signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, aye.
And Joe, aye.
Okay, the agenda has been approved. For council actions, council did approve unanimously the art donation that's been offered by the L1A Foundation for the planter in Matheson Square. Council in November had requested some additional information which the artist had provided, and so we look forward to receiving that. We thank the L1A Foundation for donating that art to the village. Council also approved Joe McCauley to serve for another 2-year term, and I think there was some misunderstanding on my part that I was thinking it was a 3-year term, and Sheree corrected me, that is a 2-year term. So you have been approved for another 2-year term, and we appreciate your service, Joe. Have sent out the detailed budget reports for November and December, and this is incorrect on my slide. That is the budget report as of 12/31/2020. But the details for November and December have been sent out to you. Are there any questions, comments on the budget? We have not had a lot of expenses really so far, other than mostly contract expenses.
Negative.
All right, let's move on to events. Angie, are you with us?
I am.
Okay, you want to give us a recap of some of the events in December, plus anything coming up here?
Sure. The Christmas tree lighting, angel tree, and toys for tots are kind of all in one. The toy drive and the angel tree for Union County, they collected 16,129 toys and gifts were donated for children around Union County. They served over 4,600 children this year. And I think that almost doubled what they served in previous years. They had 2,100 families sign up for assistance this year. So I think it was great that Lake Park was able to not only do toys for us, but that we also were able to adopt those 25 angels and support the kids and the funding that we selected also. So great job for the holiday season. And it's just an easy way for the community to get involved at that time of year. Very much appreciated by Union County. The Christmas lights for next year, I'm not sure what that's about.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Excuse me, Angie.
Sorry.
Henry, I asked Henry to put together a list of any lights and timers and so forth that he felt we would need for next year. We had approved on top of his quote for the tree lighting, we had approved about $1,000 for additional expenses for anything he needed, which there was very little that he needed prior to installing the lights. So we have almost all of that $1,000 left, probably, I don't know, 925, 950. But the list that Henry gave to me, I got a quote from Novelty Lights, and it came back at $964.12. So even though we had money left over, I wanted to bring this back to the Park and Rec Commission for approval before we went ahead and placed that order. Any questions on that, comments? If not, I would like to have a motion to approve the $964.12 for Novelty Lights for,
I have a question.
yes.
Can you remind me if Novelty Lights comes from Canada?
No, they come out of Colorado.
Okay, thank you. I knew it was a C, just couldn't remember which C.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the quote from Novelty Lights?
I'll make
a motion.
I got two motions there. I think Will and was it Joe?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, Will has made the motion. Joe has seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, aye.
And Joe, aye.
Motion is carried. And back to you, Angie, about the blood drive.
Okay, American Red Cross has approached us for a February 21st blood drive. They would bring the bus back out. I believe it's 1 to 5:30. Parked in front of the community center like always. Really not a lot from us, just other than restrooms for the people that are working on the bus. So just need to know if anybody has any objections to that, or if we can go ahead and give them the go for the blood drive on February 21st. That's a Sunday.
Okay. Any discussion on that? If not, is there a motion to approve the blood drive for February 21st?
Jeremy, I'll make a motion to approve the blood drive, February 21st, 1 to 5:30.
Jeremy has made the motion. Is there a second?
This is Will. I'll second.
Will has seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, I.
Jeremy, I.
Julian, I.
And Joe, I.
The motion has been approved.
Thank you.
Anything
I would
else?
like to take a pulse and see if anyone is interested in running a hygiene kit drive for the shelter. We would collect over-the-counter items such as ibuprofen, cold and flu medicine, cough syrup, antacids, shampoo, conditioner, disposable razors, shaving cream, blah, 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 and come up with like little bags. So it would be a collection drive in March. And then I would recruit community members, subcommittees to help make the little bags of all of this stuff. If the shelter wants us to make the bags or if they want to make the bags. So a hygiene kit drive for March 1st through the 31st to support the community shelter of Union County. Any thoughts?
I think it'd be a good thing to do.
I'll
Go ahead,
support it.
Julian.
No, I was just saying I will support it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the hygiene kit drive?
Do we need a
This is
motion?
Julian. I don't know.
We may not, but it doesn't hurt to have it on record as approved. So Julian has made the motion. Is there a second?
It's Jeremy, I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion?
I think, Angie, I've seen a lot of people lately who are wanting to volunteer, or they seem to in some of the comments I've seen. So that may be a good place for them.
Yeah. Yep. It's an easy thing. There's a lot of food drives and stuff. So the hygiene kit will support the back, behind the scenes to what the food does not. Joe, can I put up a sign at the coffee shop?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that's it for me, guys.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, I.
Jeremy, I.
Julian, I.
And Joe, I.
Motion is carried. Okay, thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to recreational facilities. And Julian, I apologize. I did not get your pictures in time to put into the slide, so I had to use an old one that I had. You want to talk about the swings in various parks?
Looking at the picture that the mayor is showing is the plastic protective covering that was over the metal chain. And after that plastic protective covering begins to wear off and break apart, it becomes a hazard where it can actually cut and harm somebody. So I think the mayor did cut this one off, remove it from the lower portion of the swing to remove that hazard. In Founders Park, 2 of the 4 chains were good. So probably looking at replacing some chains in Founders Park. Out of all the other parks, Russell, Veterans, Barnett, Sages, all the other ones were in good shape. So the only swing chains that need to be replaced would be in Founders.
Okay. Did you get any pricing to replace that chain?
I did not get security pricing. I knew they had been replaced before, so my question was going to go back and do you recall what pricing was before or who the vendor used by the village was before?
We had the handyman. Excuse me, go ahead, Angie.
It was Ken, the handyman. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm picking my face. He just went to Lowe's and got playground chain off the spool, and then he installed them himself. But it was Ken, the handyman, that we used 2.5, probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, we don't use him anymore, I don't think.
I don't think he lives in Lake Park anymore.
Yeah.
Jim
Is-
might have some chain left over. Jim Record.
Okay. Julian, would you be comfortable in replacing that chain?
I don't know. I'm not too handy.
Come on.
I'll try. I'll replace too much stuff, Mayor.
Okay.
So
This is Will. Julian, if you get the chain, I'll be glad to put it on.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll meet you down there, Will.
Okay.
There is a it's called, I think, a security Allen wrench nut on the swing, and I don't know if you have access to one of those. We used to have one somewhere, and I don't know if we still can find it or not. I kind of doubt it.
I'm sure I
So-
can figure it out.
Yeah, if take a look at that, and if you need to buy the tool, go ahead and do that. So I guess need a motion to approve replacing the swing chains in Founder's Park. Is there a motion for that?
This is
Will, make
Julian.
a
I'll make the
motion.
motion.
Julian has made the motion. Is there a second?
This is Will. I'll second.
You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, I.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, I.
Joe, I.
Motion is carried. Okay, moving on to facilities. I would like to thank Julian for coming in and disinfecting the community center. The building was potentially exposed to COVID-19, and Julian did come in and disinfect the restrooms and the offices and the kitchen and all that. So do appreciate that, Julian. We want to discuss the rentals after January. We've, of course, not been renting any of our facilities. And included in that, we need to discuss the basketball courts. Any thoughts on opening up for rentals or opening up basketball courts?
I think the
this
rentals,
is
I would still yield to the staff. You know, I don't think it's probably not prudent to rent the indoor facilities still. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I think if we rent the community center, it exposes our staff to the potential for COVID. And the other thought is that, you know, our situation with COVID is worse today than it was 8 months ago when we shut everything down. So I don't see how we could justify doing it, but I welcome anybody else's comments or thoughts on that. Everybody comfortable with not renting on a month-by-month basis and not opening the basketball courts on a month-by-month basis?
This is Julian, I am.
Will, correct.
Okay. So we will continue as we have been until further notice. Angie pointed out, and I don't know if you just saw this today, Angie, or if you've seen it before, that there is a leak on one of the panels on the kiosk. Had you noticed it before, Angie?
I kind of noticed it, but didn't really think much about it. And I assumed that it was the heat from the direction of that panel making the papers crinkle and curl a little bit. But today we had enough rain to where there was water in the bottom of the tray where the push pins
Yeah.
did.
And it is the panel that faces down towards the Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I know why it is leaking. That was the last panel that I reinstalled after we got the new glass. And the panels are held in by 2 bolts on the top and 2 bolts on the bottom. There is nothing that holds those bolts when you push the panel back into the frame. There's nothing that is holding those bolts in place. So when you when you have access to the inside, you can hold the bolt from inside and, or put the panel up and then put the bolt through. But on that last panel that I reinstalled, when I pushed the panel in place, the bolts were pushed back into the inside of the kiosk. So the only way I could get the bolts to stay was to put an additional nut on the outside of the frame and then insert the panel. Well, that did leave a little gap, and I think that's where the moisture is getting through. So we probably need to put some type of seal. I really would prefer not to put caulk there, but if we could put some kind of a weather stripping or a seal in there, especially on the top, to keep moisture from getting in there, that probably would solve the problem. Joe, is that something you could look at?
Yeah, I could take a look at it.
Okay. If you have any questions or when you're looking at it or what's going on there, just let me know. I'll be glad to meet you up there. But
Will he need a kiosk key?
yes, you will need to open up the door. Yes.
So gotta kind of coordinate that.
Yeah, so you'll have to check at the office to get a key. And if you can't do it during office hours, let me know and I'll pick up a key and I can get it to you. Or
I'm always up for a free cup of coffee, so you're welcome to just give me a call.
You can coordinate that with Angie then, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. All right, moving on to pool and tennis courts. We received a quote from Carolina Pool Management for some supplies that they are going to need for this coming season. Let's see. No, it came to $1,100 and some dollars. Trying to get the actual quote. Here it is. Did you send that out? Okay. Sri did not send that out in your packet. You didn't, whoops, that's the wrong quote. Sorry, that's the lights. Here we are, Carolina Pool Management. They need a rescue tube, 60 feet of rope, first aid kit, skimmer lid, skimmer baskets, band clamp for flow meter, Regent refill, and 18-inch algae brush. Comes to a total of $1,143.34. This would come out of pool repairs. Any questions on that? If not, is there a motion to approve $1,143.34 to Carolina Pool Management for pool supplies for the upcoming season?
I'll make a motion.
Joe's made the motion. Is there a second?
This is
Jeremy,
Julian,
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, I got Julian there on a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the pool supplies signify by stating your name and A or nay.
Will, aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, aye.
And Joe, I.
Motion is carried. I talked to the electrician about the tennis court timer for the lights, and he called me just before the holidays and asked if it was okay if he waited until January to put the lights in. And I didn't see any rush there. We haven't had any demand for people playing tennis or pickleball after dark during the winter months. So I said that would be fine. I do see that he has all the utilities marked out there, so I'm anticipating that he will be he's planning on starting that fairly soon. Okay, the ponds, of course, fall under stormwater, but Sri can give you an update. We have been doing some muskrat trapping. She'll give you a brief update on what's been going on there.
Okay, I just wanted to let you all know that after trapping multiple ponds, we have not caught any muskrats. The muskrat, the gentleman that's been trapping for us, and the Foster Lake and Pond both have said that it's we're taking a lot of erosion from the geese and the muskrats, but we're no longer trapping muskrats at this point because we're just not catching anything.
All right, thank you, Cherie. Any questions on that? All right, moving on to landscaping. During the last, I think back in November, we approved $5,000 from Lucas to take out all the knockout roses and replace them with another variety of shrubs. So during the last couple of months, I have gone out and taken a more accurate count of all the knockout roses that are diseased or in areas where a lot of disease is prevalent. And I have flagged all of those roses. It came out to be, I think, 118 roses instead of the 100 that we had originally, or I had originally estimated. And in some cases, we will not replace all of the roses that we take out in a certain area because there's just not room. Other shrubbery has kind of filled in the spaces. But in a few other cases, there are voids where we actually need to add some additional shrubs. So just about came out a wash as to the number of roses that we'll take out and the number of new shrubs that we will put back in. I went back to Lucas because their original estimate of $5,000 was based on about 100 roses. And so I went back to them to see if our pricing was still good, and they got back to me today and said that they would work with the $5,000. So I will give them the go-ahead tomorrow on that unless there's any objections to that. Any questions on that?
No questions, Mayor. I just would like to thank you for, I know that was a little longer and arduous process of getting them marked and took time. So I appreciate you doing that for the village.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. We have a resident, Mr. Norris Jeffrey, that would like to donate 10 birdhouses, and I believe they are bluebird houses, to the village. There's a photograph of one here. We also have that up in the office if anybody would like to take a look at it. They're very sturdily built, I will say that. I don't believe that he would install those, is that correct? Yeah. Yeah, so we would need to, he will paint them or stain them, but we would have to install them. Any thoughts on accepting that donation?
Are only bluebirds allowed to go in those birdhouses?
Well, that would be up to Park and Rec whether we would accept other. What we don't want is sparrows, but sometimes you have no control over that. My only thought on it is there are 2 screw holes, one on top, one on bottom, for mounting it to a post or a tree. I'm a little hesitant to drive screws into the trees. Will, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Not a fan.
Not a fan, okay. So if we don't do that, then we would have to buy some type of post and also install the posts, which would be a minor additional cost, but would probably involve some volunteer labor to do that.
Any flag poles or any other existing poles out there that we can use?
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, yeah, no, we wouldn't want to mount them to swings or anything like that. Bluebirds like to be somewhat out in the open. So we wouldn't want to stick it back in the woods someplace. They like it where it's fairly open. But I think it's a very generous donation. Any thoughts on accepting it, and then we can figure out how to get them installed?
Yes, if you need an motion, this is Jeremy. I'd make a motion. We accept the donation and figure out. I'll be glad to help with the installation or putting in poles or whatever we're gonna do.
Okay. Is there a second to accepting the donation?
This is Will. This is Will. I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of accepting the birdhouse donation signify by stating the name and A or nay.
Will, aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, I.
Joe, I.
Okay, motion is carried. It'll probably take him at least until our next meeting to get the birdhouses all ready for us. So we can discuss this again at our next meeting. You might want to be thinking about how we would go about getting these installed. What kind of posts? I think there's plenty of locations. I don't think locations are going to be a problem.
We could mount them all on the inside of the fence post at the pool, just all the way around it.
Let's see. What kind of birds would we get there? I don't know.
I'm just kidding. It's a great donation.
Get flamingos. Yeah, Cherie says flamingos. Okay. Before we adjourn, we will be coming up on budget season here very shortly. We probably need to be putting our budgets together by our March meeting. So you might want to be thinking between now and March as to are there any items that you would like to see added to the budget this year? We still don't know how our funding is going to be. The pool, of course, is the big question mark, but so far the revenues for the village have been pretty good. Sales tax revenues and so forth. Tax collection has been very good, thanks to Cherie and Angie. So hopefully, we won't have to make any additional cuts, and if we're lucky, we may even have a little more revenue next year than we had this past year. So if there's anything on your wish list that you would like us to consider, please be thinking about that. Is there anything else that commissioners would like to bring up this evening? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Will. I'll make a motion.
Will has made a motion. Is there a second?
Julian seconds.
Julian has seconded. All those in favor signify by stating your name and your name.
Will, aye.
Jeremy, aye.
Julian, I.
And Joe, I.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your support this evening. You have a good evening. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.